I think the passion was always there for me. There was never a moment when I doubted that I loved music. I think it's really important that every musician find ways to remind themselves of why they love doing what they are doing. You need to acquaint yourself with all of the reasons that you chose to go into this profession in the first place and really have those at the ready to remind yourself when things get very hard and music starts to feel like taking a test or jumping over hurdles. It really is something expressive and subjective, emotional, and all of those things are important to always have in the front of your mind. I was actually 5 years old when I started playing music, and I switched to the oboe probably 7th grade when I was around 13 years old, and continued to play both oboe and piano throughout middle and high school, and I took both very seriously. I switched from clarinet to oboe because I felt like the oboe presented a challenge, and it was sort of this mystifying instrument that everyone said was just so hard, and nobody wanted to play it because they had to deal with these double reeds and blah blah blah. And something about that sort of aura of difficulty made me interested in it. When it was time to decide what my path was going to be in college, I chose the oboe for the sort of more social aspect of playing in orchestra and having more chamber music opportunities. My mom told me a very poignant story about her father, who's my grandfather. He wanted to be a concert pianist for his entire life, and his parents told him that he had to essentially wait until retirement to be able to live a musical life, that he should get, just a real job, quote unquote. He waited until he retired, and when he finally did, he just played piano 24 hours a day. And unfortunately, that only lasted a few years because he was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer that made his hands immobile after some treatments. And my mom told me this story and essentially just said that you have to seize the opportunity to take music seriously and be a professional musician if that's what you want to do, because now is the time. I think there's a lot that goes into what makes someone's sound special on the oboe. There's obviously the way that they make their reeds, but also everyone's physicality is different, everyone's anatomy is different. All of these things sort of are factors in what the sound is like. Once you stop being a student, you really are your own musician. All of the responsibility lies on you and your critical thinking. And it was hard for me in some ways to, take a piece of advice that my teacher had given me and accept it as her incredibly, valuable opinion and say, maybe I hear it a little bit differently. And that process has been something that has taken a lot of courage, I think, on every musician's part. It's hard, but it's also the process that turns you into your own unique player. I think one of the most beneficial things any young musician can do is find ways to challenge themselves. And I think that entering a solo competition is a really, really great way to do that. NSAL woodwind competition is something that is an opportunity for any artist to be able to grow, even just through the process of preparation. Regardless of how far you get in the actual competition, you will learn so much about yourself in the process of exploring all of these different works and finding your own personal interpretation for all of the pieces that you're going to play in the competition. NSAL was the first solo competition that I had done since starting my undergraduate studies at Juilliard. Being one of the first place winners gave me the confidence to actually apply to more solo competitions, and at the end of the summer after my NSAL win, I participated in the International Double Reed Society's Young Artist Competition, and I actually also won first place in that one. And I'm pretty sure that I would not have had the confidence to do another solo competition had I not started with NSAL. At the end of the competition, after the regional auditions, all of the finalists come together for 1 week, and it's sort of this big social and artistic event, and we exchanged ideas and got to play for each other, and it was a really, really inspiring week, and it in a lot of ways didn't feel like a competition until the competition day because the atmosphere was so warm and so welcoming and supportive. Now that I have been through the whole process, I can just say with absolute certainty that this competition is incredibly well organized and will absolutely help you grow in ways that you could not have expected as a musician.